Ever since I was a child myself, I knew I'd always wanted to work with children. I enjoyed coloring with children, I enjoyed playing with children, and even though I didn't know it at the time, I enjoyed watching children acquire new skills and knowledge, anything from coloring in the lines of a coloring book to solving a hard math problem. It wasn't until I had 2 family members diagnosed on the autism spectrum that I became interested in working with early childhood special populations that were considered at risk. I was interested in how these different populations learned and how I could help. And if these populations did learn differently from their peers, what would happen to them? What resources were available to these populations for the children and their families? It wasn't until I started doing work at Iowa State University with dual language learners and Head Start programs that I became interested in resources and services for at-risk early childhood special populations. Head Start was started in 1965 as a program to help low socioeconomic families receive health and educational services for their children, as well as advocacy within their community. Among the children receiving Head Start services, 29% of those children are indicated as dual language learners, meaning they speak more than one language other than English in their household. Research and studies have shown that dual language learners with limited English proficiency, who are only receiving full English language immersion from their teachers in the classroom, are considered to be at risk for school readiness once they enter kindergarten and beyond, at risk for low academic performance as well as low social skills. Through our research for the Head Start, we hope to analyze the language environment of the dual language learners within the classroom, as well as teachers' beliefs and knowledge on dual language learners in the classroom. Through the Iowa State University Department of Human Development Studies, headed by Dr. Ji-Young Choi, Dr. Constance Beecher, Craig Van Pay, Da-Young Rue, and myself, we hope to analyze the language environment of the dual language learners and lead teachers through LENA, Language Environment Analysis, which is a device that sits in the pockets of the participating lead teachers to kind of track the interactions of English language versus non-English language in the classroom. We also surveyed teachers before our research started to understand what they felt was best practice and best philosophy with dual language learners in the classroom. We felt that these 2 components were the most important as we wanted to see the ratio of English versus non-English language in the classroom, as well as kind of understand and gauge where teachers are at in terms of their dual language learners in their classroom and their philosophies. Of our study of Head Start teachers, 8 of the 8 Head Start teachers, we noticed that 20 to 60% of their classroom had children speaking more than one language, anything from Spanish to Arabic to Chinese, a very diverse bunch. When we analyzed and coded the data recordings of these interactions with the lead teachers and the children within the classroom, we had noticed that 99% of the language being used was full English language immersion, while less than 1% was the other languages, the non-English languages, being used within the classroom. As you listen to the recordings, you could hear songs being sung and stories being told, but only by a select few that could really understand and participate when it came to the children. When we initially surveyed our lead teachers, over half of them had indicated that full English language immersion for dual language learners would not be good for their development as well as their learning within the classroom. So they said one thing, but their actions told a different story. So let's go back to the beginning. Research and studies have shown that dual language learners in the early Head Start classroom that have limited English proficiency, that are only receiving full English language immersion in the classroom, are considered to be an at-risk early childhood special population, at risk for low academic performance, as well as low social skills. So although they are receiving early intervention services through Head Start, they are still considered to be at risk and in danger. So what happens next? Where do we go from here? How do we help these students thrive in the classroom? How do we help these families? How do we help teachers feel better prepared to be engaged with these dual language learners in their classroom? Thank you.